Good morning, folks. Welcome to Ash Allen Talks. I'm your host, Ash, and hosting from Dubai right now. And today, having a very important guest. And our podcast is talk much about entrepreneurship, leadership, and leadership style, and how the healthy mindset work for these leaders, and how these entrepreneurs are dealing some pressure and issues regarding their companies and the motive that they have. A lot of things we have discussed so far. And I think this is the episode 78 regarding entrepreneurship and how these entrepreneurs having healthy mindset and how this healthy mindset playing a key role in overall well-being and especially for entrepreneurs with demanding schedules. So today we having an important guest, as you know, if you see my posters, previous ones, and you know who is that. And Tess Cheng, welcome to Ash Alan Talks, and it's very nice to have you again.
Hello, Ash. Lovely to be on your show again. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. And Tess, we have seen a lot of entrepreneurs and especially new entrepreneurs who are coming into market and they have a lot of plans and they succeeding in their way. And in some point they are in pausing their goals and trying to get upset from the goal. And this is kind of a random thing, and for some people they are used to it and how they overcome those problems and mindset difficulties. And I would like to ask a first question from you, that how does your mindset impact your overall health and success as an entrepreneur?
It really has a huge impact. Everything is about mindset, whether you're looking to do an exercise or a project finished, because your mind controls your actions and your outlook in everything. And so when you have a mindset you know, for your success, you are in the right track. This way, you will. It depends, it just you reframe things very differently. For example, when you come across challenges, rather than thinking, oh, these are challenges and I don't think I can overcome that. But if you have a positive mindset, you say, no, these are just lessons to be learned. I can overcome this. There will be a way to solve this solution. It's really see how you frame everything. And so when you have what I call a health mindset, you will have your health as priority. After all, your health is a foundation of everything you want to achieve. You have that in focus. And so you don't forget about it. It's always at the back of your mind. And you know that if you want to be successful, you want to achieve your business goals, you take care of yourself at the same time because you are the one who's going to make it happen.
Yeah, and I'm totally agree with that. And
Mm,
even in my personal experience, I have seen some entrepreneurs who are used to their schedule and they're having a very good health, and especially when it's come to mindset and all, they make
mm,
some health mistakes and they're trying to figure it out, and somehow they're figuring out these are the mistakes that I'm doing and I need to back into the right way and right path. So sometimes they are unable to find what their mistakes, and third person need to point out this is the mistake you are
mm,
doing, and you have to
yes.
be in right track. And
Yeah.
these are the challenges you are facing, and you are facing in a wrong way. So this is the
Mm,
target. So you are going in a wrong route. So
mhm,
this kind of things are happening in daily life of an entrepreneur or a
mm.
leader or a country leader or a business leader in any position. And so my question is, what are the biggest health mistakes that entrepreneurs make, and how can they avoid them?
What I see is that a commonality is they put health in the back burner. They think that I will eventually, when I complete my business goals, I will have time. I can set it. Then I will have be able to set it, time to look after my health. But your health doesn't wait.
Yeah.
Every day is have to do all the work that, for example, when you eat something, it has to process everything. And this goes on from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. So it's not something you can just put a stop to or say that, in 6 months' time, when this project is finished, then I have more time. It really is something you need to give it a priority on a daily basis, and to fit it in with your schedule, because your health is as important as your business, as important as your relationships. It is what enables you to have the energy, the focus to do what you love, what's important to you. So I always say that, factor it into your schedule, just like all the other things.
Yeah. And just I have seen some more entrepreneurs when I'm associating with some people, and even I have interviewed some people in over this podcast, HLN Talks,
Mm,
and I have seen the same kind of common mistakes that they are making. Like everyone have 24 hours in their day, and
mm,
how they managing the time, and somehow some people missing to manage the time, and end up in some kind of stress and frustration,
mm,
and trying to finish off their task on time, and for some kind of external reasons it's delaying, and some decision making process take more time on their daily basis.
mm,
So this is a kind of a stress everyone facing. So this kind of this time management, their sleeping hours, and
mm,
food habit, and their routine, uh, games or whatever the hobbies
mm,
they are involved in, so these are disrupt in somehow because of the lack time management that they
mm,
have and facing issues every day. So how can they back into track, and okay, this is my priority. I have to do this task early in the morning. So I have to
mm,
check my emails in between this time, and I have to give my priority for this type of works regarding my self improvement or some kind of self motivation, and attending to seminars and reading new books
mm,
and novels and associate with new friends and expanding the circle, etc. So how they can manage the time and how they are giving their priorities, especially when it's come to entrepreneurs,
mm.
and how their time looks like, how the 24 hours, and what is your advice for them?
My suggestions would be, as I said, priorities. Your health is a priority. So be methodical about it. I think what the common mistake again is that because they put it in the back burner, they think, oh, health is something that can wait. Well, it cannot wait. And so you have to factor that into your day. As you said, we all just have 24 hours a day. And don't wait till you develop a disease. A disease takes many years to develop. But in the meantime, something is brewing there. If you neglect your health, you might not get the symptoms right away, but that doesn't mean that nothing, wrong is happening. So don't wait till something happens. Give it a priority. Make sure that you factor it in, and be methodical. Preparation is key. For example, if you know you're going to go to a conference, uh, you know, make sure maybe perhaps do a meal preparation, so that bring some healthy snacks with you. Or if you're going to, going on a trip and you wonder if there's going to be a gym there where you're staying, check beforehand, go on the internet to see if there's a local gym you can go to. So all these little things you can do. I know it sounds overwhelming because, you know, entrepreneurs have a very busy schedule, and you don't want to overwhelm yourself and think, oh my god, all these things I just can't cope. Then I'm just going to focus on my business. My health can just I can just put that aside, those healthy practices. But just make sure that factor in. You have a plan. What's going to happen next day. You know what's going to happen next week. Especially, as I said, you're going to a conference or meeting. You have to get on the plane. So think beforehand, because these things are very important to you. When you look after your health, when you make sure that you eat, sleep well. Again, sleep a big topic. We can have an episode on sleep.
Yeah.
Sleep is something we need to do every day so that wake up, we have the energy to focus. We have the energy, to deal with everything that's coming to us, to deal with challenges. It gives us the ability to have good relationships with people so that we don't overreact. It puts us in the right frame of mind. It gives us better mental state. So when you
Mhm.
wake up, it really makes a difference, and all that's from coming from sleep. When people are sleep deprived, they could be like different people. You could act like a Rottweiler.
Yeah,
Rather
yeah,
than rather than a sweet little poodle.
yeah.
So give it a priority. You know that you need so many hours of sleep. So don't go at night and say, I have all these emails, I have to do all of that. I would just sleep for 4 or 5 hours tonight. That's really not enough. Your body and your brain, everything needs the time to do the work at night that it doesn't get to do during the day. Let's face it, during the day we are dealing with a lot. We're dealing with stress, all the problems we have to solve. So sleep is the time when our body gets to rest. So, it gives it a priority, time it. I think when people realize that health is so important, and then when you have that mindset, it's not a chore. I think that's why mindset is so important. When you have that positive mindset about something, you wake up and you think, okay, I have to do the breath work. I have to go out and do some exercise because it's good for me. It's not, it's not something that's depriving me from doing something else because it
Mhm.
enables me to do something that is, very important to me. So it's really the mindset. When you look at health as an important thing that you need to factor in every day, it really gets a lot easier.
Wow. And Tess, I want to add one more thing to that. That a lot of people have seeing the health in two different angle, a mental health and physical
Mhm,
health. And I don't know my perspective that these two are interconnected. I'm seeing in a
mm,
way. Please correct me if I'm wrong. That if we having adequate and enough food and enough water and doing enough
mm,
yoga or exercise
mm,
every day, so somehow it connecting with the mind and we are clear with the mindset. Or if we always falling into junk food and fast
mm,
food and we are not doing yoga or exercises or nothing at all, and we
mm.
feel some kind of upset in our mind. So this mental health and physical health looks like interconnected. Am I right or wrong? How do you seeing this?
Absolutely. Yes, yes. The whole system's interconnected, just like all the organs are connected. They all work together. You can't just isolate one organ. For example, if your heart, is not functioning properly, it affects your brain, affects all the blood flow, and then it affects all the other organs as well. So absolutely, mental health and physical health, they work together. As I said, for example, if you don't sleep enough, you feel up where you wake up feeling terrible physically, but it also affects your mental health. It affects your emotional health. When you're sleep deprived, you're going to crave for sugar to give you that
Mm,
energy.
yeah,
And at the same time, it also affects your hormones, your hunger hormones, for example, and makes you eat more, wants to crave for certain things you normally wouldn't. And also, when you're stressed, for example, you are more likely to engage in unhealthy habits because now
mm,
you don't have that much self-control because everything just becomes more arduous.
mm,
Absolutely. And at the same time, if your physical health um, is having an issue, then mentally that affects your mental state too. If you're in pain, if you're feeling low energy, you're feeling tired all the time, you're not feeling good physically, you're not going to be a happy person.
yeah. Yeah, and I'm seeing and vice versa, like same as you mentioned, physical health is impacting highly on mental health, and mental health highly impact on physical health also. Like let's say if an entrepreneur seeing a financial statement and he's figuring out that next year gonna be kind of what we call political change, or
Mm.
some kind of product failure, and he get to know, okay, he mentally upset, oh my god, next year I'm going to face this difficulty, and that
Mm.
mental health will impact on each and every corner of his attitude, food habit, it's a sleeping
Mm. Yeah.
habits, or whatever he do, it will affect in everywhere, right?
Very much so, exactly. And it affects your stress hormones, and your cortisol level is elevated. So that doesn't help. What you're thinking inside, it manifests itself in a physical way. And as you said, you're less likely to, go, exercise. You're less likely to worried about habits like hydration, because you are just not feeling good, emotionally. You're not in a good mood, and then perhaps that will also affect your relationships with other people, with your family, and so yeah, it's a vicious circle.
Yeah, and just entrepreneurs are more into passionate innovation and developing a project and going to the meeting and meeting new people. And I have seen the new inventors or entrepreneurs, you can say, that they are much into introverted, and they won't expose themselves. Even if you go to their social medias, they do not like, I mean, if you see in their post or something, it was posted before 1 year or 6 months before. So this kind of introverted entrepreneurs are there, but they are
Mm.
observing others. At the same time, we have seen some new entrepreneurs coming into market. They are more extroverted. Like we can say a very good example is Elon Musk, who is always on a tweet, and you can see tweets
Yeah.
every 10 minutes, right? So he is a kind of a person who trying to socialize after he
Mm.
achieves some point. So these are two kind of people like in entrepreneurship, introverted and extroverted,
Mm.
and how their habits looks like. I mean, if someone is not in social media, meaning is that guy is busy with his project, or if someone is busy with social media, I mean, is he is not doing anything? Or how you seeing these two things? Because I see some people like, as I mentioned, Elon Musk, who is
Mm.
busy with social media, and who is a good achiever and who have done a lot of
Mm.
excellent task and achievement in his background. So how you seeing these two? We can judge someone with the social media, or how this entrepreneur should be in social media.
Mm. I think, we really don't know what's going on behind the scene. For example, with Elon Musk, I would assume that he's got a whole team of people,
Hmm.
supporting him. So when he puts out a post, a feed, you don't know if he personally is doing it, or his team is doing it for him. And so he might come across as being really extroverted, but of course we know he is, because when he's being interviewed we can see that that's his personality. But with social media, we really put out what people want to see. And so with an introvert, they might just spend more time, doing their own projects. They might not actually believe that social media might help their work as much. They might not care about putting a message out there, that they might not feel that it's that important for them. So I think we really don't know, what is really going on in their lives. I think, these days, everything's driven by social media, and we just assume that what we see in social media must be true. I see a lot of health messages out there, and really a lot of things, are questionable. People come to me and say, "Oh, I've read about this diet. Isn't that good? And what about this thing about sugar is really not that bad for you?" Well, depends on how you
Hmm.
look at it. There's always
Yeah.
an argument against something and for something. So I think we really have to look at everything with a grain of salt.
Yeah. And Tess, I have seen some more entrepreneurs, and this is a practical question I'm seeing in my life also, that burnout and how they're facing the burnout in some situations. And a lot of people and entrepreneurs especially, they are frustrated on some point, and high blood pressure, and for some decision makings are very very tough in when it's come to financial decision making and all,
Mm.
so budgeting and loss profit and all. So at some point they have, and they're having a team actually, as you mentioned, and they are
Mm.
trying to manage it. and the owner or entrepreneur who started the company, he or she is not satisfied with some kind of output from the team. So that is a
Mm.
kind of burnout is a common in our scenarios. So how to manage this burnout and this high blood pressure in some decision making, and how
Mm.
to be calm and decide on the situation, and how to make right decision, and how you seeing decision making point of view, and how it should be aligned with the current trend and current fact that we have.
Well, again, burnt out takes time to develop, but again, very often the symptoms might be quite subtle, so we don't notice that it's coming along, um, just like a chronic disease. So it's important to manage it before it actually gets to the point where it's really difficult to reverse. Um, you know, Having a very busy schedule is always, the root cause, and
Yeah.
also the way you manage it, you get overwhelmed and you feel that you can just keep going, you keep pushing yourself to the point where, nothing else is left. And you have your team with you. But again, make sure that you incorporate self-care,
Mm.
into your daily routine, those health practices. You have to take time and you have to have boundaries.
Mm.
They're very important. You have to set your boundaries. You have to say no, at that and
Yeah.
at certain times. You can't say yes to everything because
True. True.
uh, they're only 24 hours a day, and then you get overwhelmed. You can't deal with them. So say no, set boundaries, schedule everything, schedule the time to take care of yourself. Self-care time is important. It is not a luxury, it's a necessity.
Yeah.
And get some support, perhaps talk to a friend or a mentor or coach, just get some support because someone else can really see what's happening. Sometimes, you just have all these things going on. Perhaps your family, your family could see the changes in you, could see how you are just getting, overwhelmed with your challenges. So talk to people and say and see, do you think, how do you think I've been? Talk to them about how they're seeing you. I mean, are they seeing any changes? Especially people who've known you for a long time.
Mm.
They would notice the certain, some subtleties going on.
Yeah, true. I totally agree with that, Tess, because if you are isolated and if you don't have a team or someone to share what you have inside, so that will be another problem. So if you
Mm,
have someone to share, your partner or your friends or your colleagues, to solve a problem, yeah, you are somehow you put your idea or your problem in front of someone, and it looks like
mm,
half solved, because you know the problem, and you know to write the problem, and you know to put that problem in front of someone else. So
mm.
so you solved half of the problem, and the next half is you need to find the answer only. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
And Tess, a funny question, I think this one. So one of my friend suggested me that, Ash, if you are a human, and just forget about entrepreneurs and business and all,
Yeah.
the drinking water is very important. So he said you should drink at least 9 liter of water a day. So man, 9 liters. So I don't know. Some maybe some people who are
Mm,
mostly cared with their body and all, they might drink water,
mm,
the pure mineral water, right? So
mm,
what do you think about this? You know, putting forward the thing from a statement of his point of view. The 9 liter of water, is it true, or how the food habit should be?
mm. Well, first of all, hydration is very important. Of course, it's important for your brain. It's important, for your skin and just everything going on, physically and mentally. Um, I'm not sure about the 9 liters
Mm-hmm.
scenario. I
Tess,
al-
I also have no idea how did he drive this equation. And I tried with some chat
Mm,
GPT code and all. This 9 liter I couldn't found anywhere, right? I have
yeah,
no idea.
no.
I have to ask from him. And he flied somewhere, and unfortunately he's in London. and
Mm.
he's in some business stuff. But he was advised to me, and I was forgot to ask back him again that are you drinking 9 liters every day?
Yeah.
Somehow I missed
That
that question. Yeah.
exactly. Because if he was, unless he lives on a desert, he would be in the bathroom all day long. I
Yeah.
can't possibly imagine. No, no, I think definitely hydration is very important, and people neglect, especially when they have a very busy day, and also they don't want to be interrupted, so they say, "I don't want to have to go to the bathroom,"
Yeah.
all the time. But when you wake up, I always suggest having 2 glasses of water, and I would say my suggestion would be about 2 liters a day, and
Hmm.
unless you're engaging in some physical activities that will just, get you to sweat a lot. But for a normal person, if you just go by, go about your day, I would say about 2 liters would be adequate. And start early in the morning, because after you've slept, your body is quite dehydrated from not drinking all night. I assume you're not waking up, every 2 hours and having some water. So for most of us, after 6, 7, or 8 hours of sleep, we need to replenish our body with water intake. So I would say it's 2 glasses a day before you have your coffee. So that gets it all going, and have most of your water intake, I think, by early evening. So this
Hmm.
way, you're not going to get woken up in the middle of the night. And yeah, 2 liters a day, I think that's enough. And unless you go for a big workout, you're going to the gym, then make sure you are hydrated when you are there, because you're more likely to be sweating a lot, or if you're going into a sauna, for example,
Hmm.
or if you happen to go to Palm Springs in the middle of July,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's a very dry situation. That's very different. Or if you're having a lot of coffee or alcohol, which is dehydrating, so make sure you replenish yourself with more fluid. So yes, I think 9 liters would be a bit
Impossible. Yeah.
excessive.
Yeah. And and if he listen to this podcast, I think definitely he will come back and comment something.
Yes. Yeah. I
And
just wonder if he, comes across any research studies that say, well,
yeah.
one needs to have nine
Yeah.
liters a day.
Yeah. And this, I would like to mention some more stuff regarding entrepreneurship.
Mm,
That the entrepreneurship and new technologies are advancing more and more every day, and we've seen like AI technologies, especially
mm,
this ChatGPT or DeepSeek from China, and some more new companies are coming in. And I have read an article yesterday. I think there's a printer to print uh, human organs, right?
mm,
So yeah, it's based on AI technologies, and it's printing, and they are testing still these organs are working perfectly with the condition that we have or not, and
mm,
still they are advancing on it. So these are not a big corporates like Apple Incorporation or Tesla, or it's not big. These are very small companies run by
mm,
small students, maybe a small group like 4 or 5 employees, or 2 or 3 friends who have get together and started a company and coming into the market, and themselves they are inventors at the same time entrepreneurs. So this trend is coming into the market from 2025 beginning. I have seen from this ChatGPT 3.0 release and all.
mm,
So these are the entrepreneurs who are mostly focused on researches and some development in
mm,
coding and all, but
mm,
they are not aware of entrepreneurship or a basic idea about how to run the business, or this burnout stuff and their
mm,
health and mind and all. So,
mm,
what is your advice for these people, and where they can learn this one from the beginning, and how they have to look themselves? And if they're seeing themselves in a mirror, they just see themselves as I invented something, right? But
mm,
how can make their viewpoint from that and shift towards their health and well-being, and where they can learn it from, and test how can they meet you, and where they can find you in social medias, and in LinkedIn especially, and your email
mm,
address, and where they can find you and how you can guide them, and what is
mm,
point that they are in right now and how it should be
Mm,
aligned as an entrepreneur and inventor.
mm. Again, when it comes um, health messages and how health information. There's so much information out there. People
Yeah,
say, "Oh, but I can do it by myself. I can go on social media. I can just go on the internet, and I will find everything I want." But at the same time, there's a lot of misinformation out there.
yeah,
People just put stuff there. You have no idea whether it's been backed by science. So as someone who's new to this field, I think it's important for them to have the guidance and the support and someone who's an expert, who can actually um, get them started, with the right habits and the right mindset. Um, and rather than just doing on your own, because I think when it comes to health, people say, "Oh, but I know what to eat." I read that article, it was in the newspaper, or it's when you Google, uh, should I go on this diet? And they say, oh, yes, this diet is perfect. If you go on this diet, you're going to lose 20 pounds in 1 week. Or go on
mm,
Ozempic, it works so well. Look at all these people who lose all that weight. But what it's not telling you is that what are the side effects and how sustainable something is.
yeah,
We want something that's sustainable. You don't want something that will only work for 3 months, and then when you stop doing those things, your weight comes back on. You're going to have low energy again, and you feel terrible. So it's really important to go to an expert and get help. Someone
mm,
can guide you, and not only that, that person will work with you to make sure that it fits in with your lifestyle, with
mm,
with your culture, with your life situation, your setup, whether have a family, you live on your own, or you have your wife or husband with children, and whether you travel a lot, and whether you like this, what kind of cuisine you like, even something like that. It's no good telling
yeah,
you to have protein shake all day
yeah,
if that's not something you
yeah,
want, even though it would work, but
yeah,
it doesn't apply to you, and soon you will just say, I don't like this, why am I doing this? You see, this is useless, this doesn't work for me. Or you
yeah,
actually just say, doesn't work. It's not that it doesn't work, it just doesn't work
mm,
for you, so you have to find something that works for you. So that's what I do with my clients. It's all everything's customized, it's tailored to their needs, because it's that's the key to success, to any success. um, and together we come up with strategies and work out what would work. And sometimes you try something new. I mean, we don't know, just like anything. I don't know if I'm, say, Ash, if I'm working with you, I give you some suggestions, but I don't know if those suggestions might work for you.
mm,
They might have worked in the past with other clients. But we all are individuals.
yeah,
We have very different emotional makeup,
yeah,
everything.
yeah,
For example, I know, I personally love avocados,
mm.
but apparently not everyone likes them.
It's kind of a unity in diversity.
Yeah, exactly. And then again, your work schedule is also very different from someone else's.
Yeah,
So it's that's why it's important to have someone to work with you, to look at those areas that are really important, so to make everything sustainable and fun.
mm,
We want something to be enjoyable. We don't, I don't want to give you something, where is you say, oh, but I can do it, but it's not really something I would enjoy. And then I'm not going to do it with the right mindset. And at the same time, accountability I find is really important too. That's why it's important to have someone, even a friend, as an accountability partner. And that's what a coach does. It keeps you accountable. So for example, hydration, I can send you reminders or send you a message. Ash, are you drinking your water today?
yeah,
Let me know, and then you say, oh yes, Tess just says, I have to drink this water. Of course, I forgot, but now I will. But people like to have some support and accountability. They can get in a hold of me on social media, on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and my handle is the same. It's Glow with Tess with one W. Same as my website, which is glowwithtess.com. So it's glowithtesse.com. Feel free to go on and sign up for my monthly newsletter for some health and wellness tips every month. Yeah, so, I look forward to hear from you all. I'm passionate about health. I think there's so much we can do. I really want to inspire people and to get this message out there that is not your DNA is not your destiny.
Yeah.
That you can really take control of your health
Yeah.
with healthy practices.
Wow. And Tess, I will put email and your website and all in the description below, so the listeners can find it from Spotify and Apple Podcast, and
Mm,
from LinkedIn and in my social medias in everywhere, and especially in YouTube. And the channel is getting growing slowly, and I am
mm,
getting some more subscribers there, and it's going well. So visit the
mm,
YouTube channel of Ash Allen Talks and all, and you can find more valuable contents there. And Tess Cheng, it was a very important meeting, and we have discussed a lot about entrepreneurship and the burnout, and what are the difficulties they are facing in current and practical world, and a lot of things we have discussed, and we are trying to conclude here, and we are planning to exit at this point. And I would like to continue this podcast as a second episode and third episode
mm,
and all, because we already have a first episode. I am making this one as a second one, and we have to make the third one, and we should continue this one because this is a current trend and the new things are coming in, and we are
mm,
exploring here, and we are learning actually, and we are teaching a lot of listeners.
mm.
And it's very important for me and as well as Tess, I hope. And yeah, thank you very much, Tess Cheng, for joining me.
Thank you, Ash. Such a privilege.